Welcome back, Sports Nightly here on the Husker Sports Network, and delighted to be joined now by the athletic director for the University of Nebraska, Bill Moos. And Bill, I know for the fans, for your coaches, it's been such a roller coaster, the players over the last 7-8 days. How have you compartmentalized the last 8-10 days of what we've all been through?
Well, it's been fast-paced. The process has taken 5 months, Greg. And then it all came to an end fairly quickly, and that certainly is frustrating. I feel for our coaches who have been working so hard, and for our fans who were really getting excited, and most of all for the student athletes who have worked very, very diligently, have worked hard, have had their hopes up, and hopefully we can keep their morale where it can be and keep moving through this thing.
Bill, on Monday we heard from the head football coach for the first time in about a month, and boy, there was some passion and some fight in him on Monday. What did you think of Scott's performance and the leadership that he showed on Monday?
I thought it was outstanding. Scott Frost is not only very articulate, he's very smart, he's passionate, he's caring. He isn't just saying these things to be talking. He means this, and we need to remember, and our fans need to remember, that he made those comments before any decision was made on this season and such. He voiced what he felt. I thought he was very appropriate and respectful to the Big Ten, as we all are. But let me tell you, Scott Frost will have a great record as the head football coach at the University of Nebraska. But how he has handled this and what his priorities have been is what he's all about. And I watched him and listened to that, and never have I ever been in doubt that he's the right guy to be leading this football program. And I hope everybody understands how fortunate we are to have him.
Bill, the comment that he made that caught national headlines was that you all would be looking for any option to find some opponents to play this fall. Take me through that. Has that door closed completely? Where does that stand? And obviously there were people within the conference that were offended by those remarks that Scott made.
Yeah, and there were some that were very supportive of it, Greg. Again, our positioning here in Lincoln, Nebraska is different than our peers in the Big Ten, with the possible exception of Iowa. We're in a safe, clean environment. We have done everything to a T in regards to testing protocols. We could write the book on how to get a football team, volleyball team, soccer team ready for competition in the midst of a worldwide pandemic. And so we felt that if indeed the season was canceled, that we needed to be prepared to look at some options and some alternatives to hopefully play 6, 7, 8, 9, maybe 10 games with opponents outside of the Big Ten. And we were looking at that, hoping and planning to play that reduced 10-game schedule that was put out by the Big Ten that I had a lot to do with, but wanted some options in the event we couldn't. And as you know, and our fans know, that was not permissible. Primarily, I feel, Greg, because the season really wasn't canceled; it was postponed, and that means that hopefully we're going to play in the spring or sometime after the first of the calendar year, and that would have made it difficult to still play a series of non-conference games in the fall and then come back and play a conference season in the spring. At least that's how the conference felt. It wasn't how Scott and I felt, and at the end of the day, we are proud members of the Big Ten. It's a prestigious conference, and we will be in compliance, but we thought all the way until actually yesterday that we might have a chance to do that.
Bill, in any way, did the events of the last couple of days put a strain on Nebraska's relationship in the Big Ten, at least in your eyes?
No, I don't think so. I know in some sports talk shows and such, there was some anger and feelings if you don't like the Big Ten, get out. That isn't what this was all about. We like the Big Ten, and we're going to compete in the Big Ten, and we're going to be successful in the Big Ten. So that was a decision that was made 10 years ago, and the decision stands. And our future plans are to compete and to be successful in all of our sport programs in this good conference.
Again, visiting with Nebraska Athletic Director Bill Moos here on Sports Nightly on the Husker Sports Network. It's been a wild week plus. Heck, it's been a wild 4 or 5 months since COVID shut everything down back in March. All along, Bill, you, Scott Frost, even Ted Carter, I've talked to throughout all this, have been very confident that you could keep the student athletes healthy, you could keep them safe here on campus. Take me through that. Why have you been so confident? And obviously you've had a lot of help from the medical side of things to make sure that this is the best place for your student athletes.
Well, I've said all along when I was staging the fight and turned out to go into fruition of having voluntary workouts begin the 1st of June, because I said back then, and I continue to, that the safest place for our student athletes is Lincoln, Nebraska, to get them out of high-risk areas in California and Texas and Florida and New Jersey and get them here. And the safest place once they're in Lincoln, Nebraska, is in our facilities. And our medical people, our doctors, trainers, all of our performance professionals, our psychologists, our nutritionists, everybody was queued up and ready to take care of these student athletes. Our testing protocol, how we got the student athlete from the airport to our facilities at quarantine for 2 days, testing, if we did have a positive test, how we dealt with that, all very, very well. Like I said earlier in our visit, we could write the book on that. And so we felt all along that we were on top of this, and really felt in many regards that a lot of the other conference schools were too. There were some concerns at some places, and that's understandable, but here at the University of Nebraska, because where we are, because of the great professionals, our wonderful affiliation with University of Nebraska Medical Center in Omaha, they have been so very helpful and played such a very big part in what we're doing, and will continue to. It was, I felt, a very comfortable situation that all of us felt good about, and that we were making good strides to be in a position to start our fall camps in the 3 sports, football, volleyball, and soccer, and move on into competition in September.
Bill, it must have been a gut punch for all your student athletes to hear the news that their seasons have been pushed back. How are they handling that? And can you just kind of give us a sense of their mood the last 48 hours?
That was a tough message to send out. It was a tough head coaches meeting I had a tough time getting through that because I love those coaches, and I love our student athletes. They're just eager to compete and to be teammates, and they are resilient. We're hoping they'll all stay the course. We're working on what the schedule will be and how many hours we can have access with them in the various sports. We have the winter and spring sports coming back to start school here shortly, and can we get them into their facilities and all those things. These young people want to be here. They want to be with their teammates. They want to have the discipline and structure that they need, and we want to provide it. So disappointed, yes. Think about it. They have dreamt of competing at the college level, the major college level, at a storied program like the University of Nebraska, in the prestigious Big Ten, and for right now, those dreams are crushed. And it's going to take all we've got to make sure we embrace them, love them, take care of them, and get through this together. And I really feel that we have the people at all levels and capacities to do that.
Again, visiting with Nebraska Athletic Director Bill Moos here on Sports Nightly on the Husker Sports Network. Bill, the mountain ahead of you as far as the economic impact for your department has to be pretty daunting. I know the city's going to have to deal with this. The state's going to have to deal with this. You took some steps back in June to try to, soften the blow, but it probably can't even compare to what may be lying ahead of you. Just talk a little bit about the challenge that lies ahead of you and your department.
Well, when we made those tough decisions, Greg, back in June, we eliminated 17 positions, some of those high-level positions, and made a budget cut of 10% to address a budget deficit that in the beginning we were thinking might be 12, maybe $15 million. With the news that we received this week, we now are looking at a deficit in athletics alone, right here, I'm not talking the university, of north of $100 million. If we can get the television revenue or parts of it with a non-traditional season, that'll help. But as we've talked before, each home football game is worth $12 million. And that didn't count television and our media partners and all of those things. So we've been meeting for quite some time. Now we have a solid feel for the dilemma we're facing. My senior staff right now, as we're speaking, is in our conference room looking at all the different ways that we can address this. So that is a daunting exercise. Now, last time we talked, I mentioned the family of Lincoln. We care about all these businesses, all these wonderful people in Lincoln and throughout the greater Lincoln area and all around the state of Nebraska. At that time, I was talking about a $250 million economic negative impact. It's probably closer to $300 million that 7 home games at capacity provide, and that's a lot of businesses, a lot of jobs, a lot of families that are going to be affected, and that weighs heavy on me, and it weighs heavy on all of the administrators at the University of Nebraska. So, this is an amazing state, and we will lock arms, and we will march through this much like we did in the aftermath of the floods that took place earlier and last year, and we'll get there, and it'll make us stronger. We'll come out better in the end, but I have a strong care and feelings for the people that are going to be affected, both in our department at the university in Lincoln and throughout the entire state of Nebraska.
Well, Bill, I know you know this, but the fan base, they're hurting right along with you. They love their Huskers and all the sports, football in particular. That I think they've been crushed with the news the last couple of days as well. So a good words there from you to just tell them to hang in there, hang with us, and there'll come a day where they'll be able to come back in through our stadiums and our arenas and cheer these wonderful Husker student athletes on.
They will, and that'll be a grand and glorious time, and we'll all rejoice then. And what wonderful, wonderful fans they are. The only good news is I'm not going to have to, and my staff, figure out who could come into the stadium and who couldn't if we had a capacity issue in regards to the virus. So hopefully we aren't going to have to do that. We can get back next year with full capacity, marching bands, spirit squads, tailgating, everything like we've enjoyed through all of these years. And I feel strongly that we'll get there. Hang with us. And Greg, thank you, and all our affiliates around the state who have been so fabulous. Really thank them, the media. We've got a story to tell, and we're going to have some good, fabulous endings to all this down the road.